Hey folks, and welcome back. Thistle here. I know I mentioned I'll be doing a video on events, and I promise it is still in the works. But Akrona from Argent Dawn suggested I cover etiquette first, and honestly, I think that's a really important foundation before we get into event planning. So today we're tackling some big questions that come up in the roleplay communities. 1. How much IC power and authority can your character really have? 2. How do you navigate relationships like family, romance, or rivalries without them turning into a mess? 3. And how much lore do you actually need to know to roleplay confidently? These are all things that can make or break RP, so let's jump in and talk about how to keep the sandbox fun, collaborative, and enjoyable for everyone. So before we jump into the sections, I just want to say I will try my hardest at keeping them short and very easy to follow and understand. So let's kick off. Section 1. IC power and authority. Power in roleplay is a tricky subject. You might want to play a knight captain, a commander, a criminal, or just the scariest fighter in town, but here is the golden rule. Your character's power only exists as far as other players agree to recognise it. So let me give you some examples. If you walk into a tavern and announce, "I'm the also powerful fighter, bow to me," players are free to laugh, ignore you, or play along. You don't get to decide how their character reacts. If you're a criminal mastermind, you might expect respect. But that is earned through roleplay and community trust, not automatic authority. And when it comes to combat, emotes aren't weapons. Saying Thistle swings her sword and decapitates you isn't fair. A better way is Thistle swings her sword in a wide arc, aiming for your neck. That leaves space for other players to react. We always aim or seek to harm in emotes. Think of RP like improv theatre. You're not writing a solo novel, you're building a story together. And the best stories happen when everyone is working together nicely. Section 2. Relationships in roleplay. Relationships in RP can sometimes be the most rewarding parts of storytelling, but they also need careful handling. For example, if you want your character to have a sibling or a cousin, check in with the other player first. Family ties are a big deal, and not everyone wants to share their backstory. With romance, communication is everything. Don't just flirt endlessly, icily, and expect to become a relationship. A quick OOC check like, "Hey, would you be comfortable if our characters developed something romantic?" goes a long way. Rivalries are fantastic fun, but make sure everyone knows it's strictly IC. If your character insults or fights mine, that's part of the drama, but OOC, we're still on good terms. The don'ts. Don't force somebody into a relationship or rivalry. Don't confuse IC tension with OOC feelings. And don't pressure people into more than they've agreed to. When in doubt, talk it out. It's amazing how much smoother RP comes with a little OOC communication. Section 3. How much lore do you need to know? Now the big question, how much lore do you actually need to know as a role player? Here's the truth. Not much, and definitely not everything. Nobody expects you to memorise every novel, comic, or obscure patch note. What helps is knowing the basics of your character's culture, race, and class. If you're a night elf, for example, it's good to know that they're long-lived and tied to nature. You don't need to recite the whole War of the Ancients from memory. Avoiding contradictions. If your character claims to be the official heir of Stormwind's throne, people might raise an eyebrow, unless it's clearly part of an alternative universe RP. Being open to learn. If someone corrects you on a lore detail, don't take it as an attack. Most of the time, people are just trying to help. And here's a secret. Good RP relies more on character's personality, than your lore knowledge. You can roleplay a baker in Stormwind without knowing every battle in the Second War. What matters is how your character reacts, grows, and connects to others. Now, a little disclaimer. I know others might not agree with how much lore you need to know, and that's completely fine. But I would always recommend that you start off with my first example, the basics of your character's race and class and cultures. Section 4, keeping it fun. All of this comes down to one principle. RP is collaborative storytelling. Respect consents. Don't force outcomes. Keep OOC and IC separate. And share the spotlight. If we remember those basics, and then the power plays, rivalries, romance, and even lore debates all turn into opportunities for great stories instead of OOC drama. Before we wrap up, I want to give a big shout out to Acrona for suggesting this topic. Honestly, it was such a good call to cover etiquette before we dive into events. And while we're at it, I would also like to give a shout out to Argent Airwaves. It's a fantastic podcast for Argent Dawn roleplayers. I'm really excited to say I'll be joining them on their next episode, which comes out, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday, depending when you're awake. I'll pop a link below so you can go and check them out. And that is it for today. If you keep those principles in mind, you'll find RP experiences get richer, smoother, and way more fun. If you've enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe. And drop your own roleplay tips in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I'm Thistle. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll catch you in character.